All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today on fixed index annuities.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, we're looking at the Aspida Synergy Choice Max.
Okay.
Now, you sent over their marketing material, and
Yeah.
there's always some sales stuff in there, obviously, but
Right.
I think there's some interesting stuff to unpack here.
Yeah, definitely.
And one of the things that really kind of jumped out at me was
Uh-huh.
this whole market participation with downside protection thing.
Mm.
It sounds like almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like, how do you actually
Yeah.
square that circle?
Yeah, well, I think, as we get closer to retirement, we're all kind of looking for that,
Yeah.
right? That sweet spot
Absolutely.
where we can participate in those market gains, but then also, not lose our shirts when things go south.
Totally. Yeah.
So really, that's what this annuity is trying to do, is link its growth to market indices, but then you're also safeguarding your initial investment.
Okay, so let's get into some of the specifics here, because
Yeah.
they talk about
Yeah.
the indices that they're tracking, right?
Yeah.
And they've got the Citi Aria, the Goldman Sachs Grand Prix,
Mm-hmm.
Nasdaq-100, and the S&P 500.
Okay.
So I guess first question is, like, why this specific mix?
Yeah.
And then how does that play into a diversified portfolio strategy?
Sure.
Especially considering your existing investments, which we both know are pretty heavily weighted towards tech stocks.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, the S&P 500 obviously gives you that
Right.
broad market exposure.
Yeah.
But when you throw in something like the Nasdaq-100,
Mm-hmm.
you could be looking at a little bit of overlap there, right?
Yeah.
Especially with your current tech holdings.
Right.
So I think that's a really important question to ask is,
Yeah.
does this actually align with your overall diversification strategy?
Yeah. I mean, are you getting any real diversification?
Exactly.
Or are you just doubling down
Exactly.
on stuff you already have? Okay. So another thing that kind of stood out to me was this 10% free withdrawal rule
Mhm.
after the first year.
Okay.
On the surface, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But how does that actually
Right.
compare to, like, the restrictions of other annuities?
Sure. So a lot of times you see annuities and they have those surrender charges.
Right.
If you want to take your money out early.
Right.
So this 10% free withdrawal,
Right, yeah.
it gives you some flexibility there.
Yeah.
But I think the key is to compare it, right?
Yes.
Some annuities might have a higher free withdrawal limit
Okay.
or maybe a shorter surrender period.
All right. So compare and contrast.
Exactly.
Okay. And then there's this bailout feature.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing that really kind of
Yeah.
makes you scratch your head a little bit.
Right.
Right. It's like this escape hatch if the S&P underperforms.
Okay.
Now, is that something that's unique to Aspida?
Yeah, I think it's a good question.
Yeah.
It sounds great in theory, but I think you really got to dig into the details there.
Okay.
What exactly triggers that bailout?
Mm-hmm.
How does it compare to the protection features of their competitors?
Right.
So
Yeah. Don't just take the marketing at face value.
exactly. You got to look beyond the marketing
Right.
and really understand what's going on there.
Okay. Now, they also highlight this nursing home and terminal illness waiver,
Mm-hmm.
which gives you access to, like, your full contract value.
Yeah.
If you end up in one of those situations.
Right,
It's like a very
right.
specific feature.
Mhm.
Why include that?
I think it reflects a growing awareness that
Okay.
retirement planning,
Yeah.
it's not always a straight line,
Right.
right? Things happen,
Yeah.
health events,
Yep.
things like that. And so this is really designed to be a safety net
Okay.
to give you access to those funds when you might need them most.
So let's actually try to put this into practice a little bit.
Okay.
Because you sent over some of your retirement goals,
Mm.
and you're aiming for this balance of stability and growth.
Right.
So let's say you're 5 years into retirement
Okay.
and the market takes a downturn.
Yeah.
Walk me through how this annuity, with all its bells and whistles,
Okay.
would actually protect you in that scenario.
Sure.
And maybe compare and contrast that to, like,
Yeah.
a traditional fixed annuity.
Yeah. So with a traditional fixed annuity, your principal's safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? But your returns are fixed
Yeah.
regardless of what the market's doing.
Okay.
So in a downturn, your income stays steady,
Right.
but you might be missing out on some of that growth when the market rebounds.
Okay.
Whereas with this indexed annuity, you still have that principal protection,
Mm-hmm.
but your returns have the potential to grow
Okay.
even in a volatile market.
So there's that potential upside.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've unpacked a lot here.
We have.
We talked about index options, these waivers,
Mhm.
the bailout feature.
Yeah,
I mean, this Aspida Synergy Choice Max. It's really trying to
That's it.
differentiate itself in the market.
definitely.
But let's zoom out a little bit.
Sure.
How does all this fit into the bigger picture of retirement planning.
Yeah.
And what are some key questions that somebody should be asking
Right.
a financial advisor
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that this is the right fit for them?
Yeah, because this might be a good fit for somebody
Okay.
who's looking for that growth potential with some downside protection.
Right.
But it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right.
So you want to ask about the fees associated with this annuity,
Okay.
how it compares to other investment options, and really just how it aligns with your overall retirement income strategy.
Fantastic insights.
Well, thank you.
Really appreciate you breaking all that down for us.
You got it.
We went way beyond the marketing here.
Definitely.
Really dug into what makes this annuity tick.
I think so.
But here's something for everybody listening to think about.
Okay.
If this annuity is all about balancing risk and reward, where do you personally feel that balance point should be for your retirement plan?
That's a good question.
Food for thought as you continue your deep dive.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll